PropTech is going to basically benefit. And consumers are becoming far more rational in their approach. They are becoming far more, I would say, realistic.
So after COVID, we have seen a rise in terms of adoption of technology. So when it comes to PropTech sector, do you guys think builders, real estate developers have been opening up when it comes to PropTech solutions?
Yeah, so I think in the last 2 years, I would say, before that, I would always meet developers and they themselves would joke that we are a decade behind on technology. I think real estate industry definitely is behind. But last 2-3 years, something has clicked, and I don't think it is related to COVID. Timing is the coincidence there, I suppose. It's just it's a transition happening where newer builders and younger builders are coming in. Next gen of some of the established names are coming in. They realize the value of technology. They see that the custom data is speaking. There's a maturity in technology also where data is king, right?
Yeah.
So these two are driving a lot of technology adoption at every level. It's ApnaComplex giving, empowering the tenant and resident, or Smart as Office empowering the builder and the stakeholders at the design stage. There are folks who are helping in material assessment. There are different things, but everything data and technology. And the last 2 years, PropTech is the name in the game.
I would agree with you. But I have an additional point to add to that. One, which is saying that I think it's more of a push from the actual end user side. It is a push because the actual end user today, cut to 2018 and cut to 2022, I mean, 3.5 years have gone by. In 3.5 years, we have seen the explosion of technology on all aspects of life, and automating convenience and speed to market. This is what has been the overall, I can say, the three elements which have actually pushed and propelled technology usage.
Right.
Now consumers, and I would speak from an ApnaComplex perspective, are asking for technology.
Yeah.
They are pushing the real estate developers to think ahead of the curve. For example, we never heard of the fact that a site visit could be done virtually.
Yeah.
But now 40 to 50% of sales happen virtually.
Yeah.
That's one, right? But that's on the sales side. But having said that, given the fact that there has been so much of virtual aspects, and that's a convenience if you look at it, and a faster go-to-market for the developer to sell, the consumers who are actually moving, our residents who are moving into societies now do not want to go in and deposit checks at the maintenance office.
Yeah.
I used to do that about 5 years, 10 years ago. They don't want to do that anymore. They all want they want convenience at their fingertips, the bill to be loaded onto their smartphones, API gateways with payment aggregators, and of course reconciled receipts back to them. Rent payment. Whoever heard that, right? I mean, now rent payments don't happen through cash or check anymore. It happens directly through net banking and credit cards, right? And not only that, I mean, if you look at it, like what I said in my earlier piece about disrupting the notice board, which is there. Nobody goes and looks at a notice board because they demand the fact that you have to. I now get residents writing to me saying that I'm not receiving notices from the society because possibly my mail has been spammed or something like that, right? So we have to work backwards and ensure that the notices reach them. That's the level of technology. So there's a huge push from the consumer end for PropTech and technology. And I would say, wouldn't restrict it to PropTech only. I would restrict it to every phase of consumerism which is there. So it's all about the push, the advantage which is coming from using PropTech and from using technology, which is convenience, speed to market, and of course the eventual automation of that product.
Sorry, I was just going to say that, and as a natural consequence, I think VC firms, PE firms, they're pumping in a lot of money into PropTech. There's enough statistics to say that PropTech has so much more money invested and it's constantly growing up. Is it fast enough? People like us would say it's not fast enough.
Though I would tend to disagree that is it equivalent to what the amount of money which is being pumped into other forms of tech?
No, it's not.
True. It's good you guys brought that point because I want to ask, don't you think PropTech market in comparison to global market is in India is still in nascent stage? Because there are still companies or still technologies which is not that mature wise in terms of the level of technology solutions in comparison to your global market players. So don't you feel in terms of technology, India especially in PropTech. Of course, other technology sectors are raising a lot of good fund, are raising a good evaluation, everything. But when we talk about PropTech and when we speak to experts, the the builders or the VCs, they say they are still not there yet. So do you agree with that?
And why do you say that? Why do you think it happens?
So it happens because the technology level is not that advanced.
I don't think so.
Let's.
I beg to disagree on that.
Okay.
And I think it's also because of the fact that PropTech players haven't managed to show the same levels of monetization and valuation, which has been shown on the other side of the curve by fintech, edutech, and by consumer tech.
So you think that technology-wise, our PropTech sector is in that
It's the same
competitive level of global market?
I would say any founder in PropTech today has the same level of technology available, has the same pool of talent available, right? And the same levels of automation possibilities available, right? Why is it that we've not been able to justify the same levels of valuation as consumer tech or fintech or edutech?
Yeah.
Even though the market is that big, right? Possibly because, one, we've not been able to showcase, when I say the PropTech sector hasn't been able to showcase the meteoric valuation gains which have actually been seen in some of the other sectors, which in a way is also good, primarily because of the fact that every single valuation metric which has been shown on the other side also has a caveat to it, right? Also has a caveat. And I'm actually underplaying it. If you look at edutech and what's happening currently, right? I mean, but the good part is that when PE firms, and there are certain mature PE firms who actually, and venture capitalist firms who are actually looking at PropTech, and they're seeing it maturing, they're waiting, and as and when there is an opportunity to invest, they will definitely come in. So, do I see the sunshine days of PropTech investment coming in? Yes, I do. I mean, it will come because the fact that the monetization on the PropTech side is very real. It is very tangible. It is not fueled by GMV numbers, which actually showcase a different picture and different story.
But right, the thing why I feel it's not as fast as the rest is the adoption and the need levels are never. The scale is there, right? I mean, India is going to be 20 million houses by end of this decade. 100 smart cities, which means we're going to build infrastructure like never before, like no other country. We already stand at, from a sustainability point of view, the second largest square footage of green space, built space. And we are aiming to double it before the end of the decade. In spite of that, ultimately, houses bought once. The vast majority of the population. You move into the office once. So the challenge in PropTech is the adoption is, we have volume here, but it's not the same stickiness of I'm making financial transactions in fintech or edutech or health tech where you're checking it more often. And that's the challenge. I mean, I was talking to a VC about this, right? So we are in the market right now. And this was one of the challenges. And so their thesis on what is investment in PropTech is maturing. You're right, I think sunshine days are ahead because the thesis is to mature. It's the same with sustainability also, by the way. And we are at the confluence of PropTech and sustainability is even more, people are trying to understand what it is. And I think once the thesis of these VC firms mature, you will see money flooding in the market.
So we'll both be positive about it. When it rains, it'll pour.
It'll pour.
So
I would agree.
But do you think it's going to be at least 4 years later, or we are going to see it within this
much before? Next couple of years max, we'll see. I mean, all the big names already have their own accelerators, which is one step from putting their own money. I mean, at least 6 guys have reached out just to us saying PropTech accelerator we have. All the big players.
I look at it from a different perspective. I'm saying when the realization comes that PropTech is the funnel to reach for consumer tech, edutech, and fintech to reach the consumer. Because the consumer is, and I speak from an ApnaComplex perspective, consumer stays in that same apartment and home, right? PropTech is that funnel for all of these, I would say, secondary tech players to come in. So if secondary tech players have already, seen that boom or the bust, whatever way you look at it, PropTech is going to basically benefit. And consumers are becoming far more rational in their approach. They are becoming far more, I would say, realistic, and they have genuine needs. which today a Proptech player, even on the sustainability side, I mean, it's a beautiful platform of sustainability.
Yeah.
I mean, they are fulfilling. Or an ApnaComplex, which is in India, and we are across about 6.5 lakh households. I mean, we're appreciated for the kind of work that we have done. And of course, the host of customizations and requirements that keep coming to us, which means that the consumer requires us. And when there is a product which is required, investment can't be far away.
Yeah. I think the other key player, and I'm not going to talk about sustainability at this second, but the other key thing which will drive is consumer behavior patterns from resource consumption and other. That thing is already automated in other countries.
Yeah.
Which means when that comes out, that data is gold.
Mm.
And that's the other thing which will drive, like the IoT solutions which are around, which are going to start telling me how often do I forget how much energy I use, how much water, how often I open my curtain, when do I open the curtain. That itself is a data, right, which is going to start driving other services, other value, right? And then the valuation and monetization will come. I think it's a massive bubble which is there, and it's not going to burst, but it's bubble is the wrong word maybe, but it's a massive opportunity. We just have to find the right monetization techniques. And I'm not a fan of the current monetization technique, like you said, in the health and fin and edutech. Properties, physical assets, so hopefully we'll have a more tangible valuation metrics. If you do that, then we are in for a big. Investors are in for a big